world is an ancient place. Mysteries from the past echo through our own times, and forces beyond our comprehension send reverberations down to our very homes and streets. On a planet filled with intrigue and magic, upheaval can strike without notice. Luckily, there is a group of upstanding adventurers fighting for justice and understanding. A band of gold. This is Tabletop Gold!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Band of Gold. This is the second edition of Band of Gold, the Tabletop Gold ongoing series in which we play the Pathfinder Society Season 6 adventures. Hi, welcome to the show. My name is Lars Casteen. I'm happy to have you here. Glad to see you. Glad you were able to join us. I'm the host of this episode. I'm the GM for this episode anyway. Or for this group of episodes, because we're going to, for the next 4 episodes, I believe, be playing through Pathfinder Society Scenario 602, Rain Falls on the Mountain of Sea and Sky, written by Luis Loza. I'm joined for this adventure by 3 fabulous players. Let's say hello to them one by one. Armet Humphreys is here. Hi, Armet. How are you?
Hello. I'm so delighted to be here and to get to do more Pathfinder Society missions. These are super fun.
These are super fun. Good to see you all. So here is Robin Lange.
Hello. Good your time.
Good my time.
Happy to be here again.
Glad to have you. And our special guest player for this scenario is our dear friend. Let's introduce him to you and to us. It's Kevin Rowe. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Lars. Hi,
Kevin.
guys.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
We're going to say hello to you real quick. We're going to talk about what the show is. We're going to have a little chat, and then we're going to kick this adventure off. Kevin, I'm going to tell people how I know you, and I'm going to give everybody some insights here. I have known Kevin for many, many, many years. We were friends in college. We did college improv together, but maybe more like relevant to this conversation, Kevin and I have been playing tabletop role-playing games together for probably like 14-ish years. Does that sound about right to you?
Sounds right. We just had a bar mitzvah for our role-playing game collaboration.
That's right. That's right.
Oh God, that's so much work for the GM.
I've known Lars for more than half my life.
Yeah. And I think that I'm right there with you, I think. I don't know.
You're as the listener should know, much, much older.
Yeah, I'm incredibly old. I'm ancient, like a tree. You cut me open, you can see a bunch of rings inside of me. Like Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm extending the metaphors in a way that...
Man Ent.
Yep, that's right.
Bands of gold right there. Rings. Gold rings.
As a guy who's cut a lot of hedgehogs open, I can tell you.
What?
You're going to be disappointed.
What am I going to be disappointed
if
about?
You cut open a hedgehog.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't want to do that.
Not that many rings inside. A lot of other stuff. A lot of goop.
No.
I've not cut open any hedgehogs.
In addition to playing tabletop role-playing together, you have something in common with Robin here, and with all of us, but I'd say specifically Robin, in that you are also a big board game fan. You are an aficionado, an enthusiast. You spend a lot of time playing, thinking about, considering board games. You are a lover of board games.
I'm a deep lover of board games. These days, I spend more time thinking about board games than playing board games, which is much to my chagrin, but I'm very excited whenever I get to play board games.
Yeah, it doesn't happen all that often.
In part, my gaming life is it's substantially taken up by our Sunday role-playing game, which is a delight, and I wouldn't trade away. But
but it takes up a lot of the time. There's only so much time. There's a limited amount of time.
I can't force you all to play Agricola with me.
It's during that window. I love to play Agricola. I love that game.
I will only play Agricola in the app version. It is way too finicky to play in real life for me.
I've never played the Agricola app.
It's a great pitch to people who are not that into board games. It's like, do you want to watch your European peasant farmers slowly starve over the course of 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
This really gets the party going.
Agricola is like David Chernicoff's like example, like top of mind example for things he does not like in board games, like that stress, that tension, that anxiety.
Yeah,
that Agricola
it is
creates.
one
has
of
a
the
real
more stressful
scarcity
ones.
mindset to it that I think is not as in vogue as it was. That's a game that's almost 20 years old at this point.
Yeah, totally. 2007. Yeah.
And I feel like there's games like Great Western Trail pops into my head, but I'm trying to think of what's Agricola-y that's come out recently. Like I feel like they don't make you that feeling of is not as much of the mainstream Euro board game vibe
I think
anymore.
that's true.
I'm trying to remember. I think the guy who was it who designed Agricola?
Uwe
Rosenberg.
Was it Uwe Rosenberg? I feel like he came up with a new one.
Oh, sure
There
he
was
did. He's coming out with new ones all the
But
time.
all the time. But like, there's one that feels like I feel like I read that it was or watched something about it being
like a
good
breakout
follow-up.
Uwe game.
Yeah.
I think the probably more palatable Uwe Rosenberg offer. I mean, Agricola's a great game. I'm not, but Feast for Odin has a
Feast
lot
for
of the
Odin,
good
sure.
things and fewer of the harsh ones.
I still want to play that one. I haven't played it
It's
yet.
really good.
You should come on over. I got.
I know
copy.
you've got it. I
Yeah.
always eye it every time I'm over at your place.
Yeah. You know what else? Speaking of coming over to my place, quick little chat. I just want to ask everybody a question because this is something that's been happening in my life recently. I've been doing a lot of traveling recently. Right after this episode premieres, I'm going to be taking an Amtrak train. I'm getting ready to travel. I've got my Steam Deck. I've got like a magazine. I've got my books. I've got like a whole thing. I've got like a whole entertainment setup for this train travel. How do you guys feel? One, to the two-part question. How do you feel about trains specifically? Do you have preferences for if you're going to be doing traveling? Would you rather drive? Would you rather take a plane? Would you rather take a train? Do you have a preferred mode of transportation? I'm sort of like looking forward to this train ride, but I know it's long. Amtrak is slow. Like the trains in the US are slow and limited. So there's like downside to it. Do any of you have preferred travel things you got to do to travel, ways you want to travel, anything in that mode?
I enjoy a train ride. If I'm traveling alone, I like the train.
That's such a good point.
When I travel through Europe, I love taking the train.
Sure.
I spent one summer, I was over there for like 2 weeks and I went from Switzerland to the south of France to Paris and took trains the whole way and it was a delight.
I never did that. I never did like that's like the thing that people talk about, like spend your summer after college or during college or whatever, like
that
with
was
a
more
backpack
recent,
riding
but
the trains.
And I spent my semester abroad in Sicily and I took trains everywhere. It was great.
Mm.
Yeah, so I am pro train.
Pro train.
I would be interested actually in taking, because they have those like fancier trains. I would very much be interested in taking a trip where the trip is being on this higher tier train.
Like an Orient Express kind
Orient
of
Express. They have a couple
situation?
ones that go cross country in the U.S., a couple ones in Canada. I would be into trying those.
I did not know about these U.S. side, these stateside luxury trains. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I love trains. It's funny that you've never done the European train thing, Lars, because I feel like I've played at least 11 different board games about European train systems with you.
Oh yeah, I feel like I'd be great at it.
You've
if I were to
simulated
do
it numerous times.
Yeah.
You could build
Yeah.
one, even though you've never read in it. I
feel
do
like
the
you'd enjoy it,
Amtrak to
Lars.
DC quite a few times. I've developed elaborate preferences about Acela versus regional and quiet car versus non-quiet car.
Okay.
The latter depends on my appetite for human drama. The
Mhm.
social enforcement of rules in the quiet car is so aggressive. It's really
I love it.
entertaining to
Don't-
me.
People who dare talk in the quiet car on Amtrak.
But I really like the Acela is, I think, probably the closest thing we have. The Acela is like the business traveler train from New York. Actually, I think Boston to DC.
Yeah.
And it goes faster, and they've got the fastest one. Now you can get to DC in like 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's really nice. It jiggles a little aggressively in a way that can make me motion sick in a way that the regional never does. And I usually can throw the extra 40 minutes at it. But trains are so comfortable. I can actually like concentrate on work, and it like takes me out of my life in a way that I can just get things done.
Oh yeah.
Really
Get a lot
pleasant
more
way
done.
to spend 3 hours. I think probably an 8-hour trip I would start to get tired, but I love trains. I'm very excited about the like doing something like the Orient Express one day. Very into it.
Yeah.
Armand, how about you? You a train guide? You like these train? You've been here. Have you heard about these trains, Armand?
Yeah, more and more I hear that these trains are a good thing. And yeah, I'm with you guys. You guys have basically said everything I would have, which is they're great. And I love like being on them. I always feel like it's fun looking out the window and you have sort of different thoughts than you normally do. Plus I love meeting strangers on a train and flip-flopping murders with them. So that's always a nice option to have, you know?
Yeah. It's a great life hack. If you're ever on a train and it turns out that everybody on the train wants to kill the same person, you can like all sort of collaborate in a conspiracy on that. Yeah.
Got to make sure there's no Belgians on the train.
Right.
That's, Well, that's standard operating procedure for me, honestly.
I always do a Poirot check before getting on the train, frankly.
Check underneath your seat for Belgian. Your Belgians may have shifted during train.
Even Belgian waffles, too close for comfort, I say.
Strongly agree.
Yeah.
Not even once.
Give me a
do you feel as though riding on a train with a companion is too intimate? Do you think it's just too much to be with one person for that long? Does it make you uncomfortable, or is this just something that I'm bringing to the party?
That's the distance of going from New York to DC or Virginia. No, I guess it depends on the person. But like my best friend and I were from the same town and kind of ended up at the same college. And so every Thanksgiving we would take the train home together. And that was a delight. You know,
you
we
liked it. Okay,
sit there and play Civ on our laptops the whole time for 5 hours. It was great.
My favorite. Oh, sorry, Robin.
Yeah, no, if it's someone who I'm not like very friendly with, like a coworker, for example, that would kind of be hellish for me.
Yeah,
I don't love traveling with like coworkers, things like that.
Yeah, maybe that's more the thing I'm thinking of. I would also extend some family members into that group. There are certain people in my family that I'm not sure I could handle just like sitting face to face with them for 6 straight hours.
But it's not usually I guess if you get the table seating.
Yeah.
It's like mostly coach bus style seating, like 2x2s.
Yeah, but I insist on sitting backwards on the seat like AC Slater on Saved by the Bell. That's just my style.
Yeah.
I guess I could stop doing that.
My favorite like mode of transportation in my whole life, I think, was a sleeper train I took in Italy. That would definitely be, that's a more intimate opportunity. But oh my God, what a great way to travel. You sleep so well, the like gentle shaking, and then you just like wake up and you're there.
That's cool.
And
I want to do that.
When I took the sleeper train, they were doing some promo, and I got everyone who rode the train got a free 007 book. And so I have From Russia with Love, but it's Dalla Russa con Amore because it's all in Italian.
Wow. I was trying to guess like what sort of promo item you would receive. It would have taken me a long time to get to Russian language promo Bond book.
Well, I'm definitely going to bring some foreign language translations of James Bond books on my trip tomorrow or whenever it is. But thank you for that. We're going to jump into our game in just a second. There's a couple of disclaimers I want to talk about before we jump into this. If this is your first time you're watching or listening to Band of Gold, I want to establish our variant rules. We're using the automatic rune progression here in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. This is the variant. It's not going to affect our game because we're playing level 1, but this is the variant where like the fundamental runes that get added to weapons and armor are going to be done automatically. We're not going to worry about getting those runes. If you don't know what that means, then it doesn't matter. The other thing we're doing is we're playing with what we call Erica's rule. Erica on our Discord server has a variant rule where anybody who's trained in medicine gets the continual recovery feat that lets you treat wounds every 10 minutes for free. You don't need to do anything for it. As I mentioned before, we're going to be playing Scenario 602, Rain Falls in the Mountain of Sea and Sky, written by Luis Loza. Last time we played Scenario 601. So we are just moving straight on through the season. There's a chance that we might skip scenarios along the way. We're not doing that yet. We went from 1 to 2. This should be, I'm very much looking forward to this adventure. I think this one is a ton of fun. And let's get into it. What do you say? Let's get into it. Let's
so excited to play Luis Loza scenario.
Before we move on, I just want to say thank you to Schadenfred, our Gold Star supporter, our supporter at the Gold Star level. Thank you for everything you do to support the show. Thank you so much, Fred.
I just have one question. What is Pathfinder?
Okay. Oh, no.
That's a great question to ask at this
about
point.
trains.
It's a
today.
really good question.
That
It would've been a
explains
better
so
question
much
to
about
ask.
your Sunday games, doesn't it, guys?
Yeah. Kevin, every time he logs in, that's the question he asks over and over again. What are we playing? What is this game? What's happening? And we never answered him. No. Just as a rule, we made a policy. Don't ever talk to Kevin.
We call it Kevin's rule.
It's Kevin's rule. It's a variant rule that we play where we never explain anything.
You
or
guys
account
never
anything
gave me the
beforehand.
Foundry login, so I just think you guys have really good imaginations, as you describe in great detail.
Yeah. Well, speaking of detail, let's get into it. It is deep summer in the year of 4724. We're late in the month of Eridus. You have been doing small jobs around your regions for the Pathfinder Society, but have recently, over the last few days, been doing some longer distance travel after receiving a letter from a venture captain named Kukuha Mukai, who runs the Three Gates Lodge, a Pathfinder facility in the nation of Minkai. Minkai is a country that has undergone some recent political upheaval, but is now enjoying some broad societal optimism due to widespread enthusiasm for their new leader, the Empress Ameko. The letter that you received from this venture captain, I'm going to put on the screen right now, and more than that, I'm going to read it to you, because that's the kind of guy that I am.
Thanks.
Greetings, Pathfinder. I hope this letter finds you well. I've chosen you to be part of the next group that will help me with some tasks at the Three Gates Lodge in Minkai. The lodge has been in place for several years now, and part of its regular maintenance requires upkeeping a powerful ritual that creates magical wards to protect it. To do so, we must visit 3 special gates near the lodge, arrange special ritual components around them, and complete a unique ritual to refresh the wards by harnessing the power of ley lines that run beneath the island of Kayajima, where the lodge is located. This process is generally a simple matter that takes the better part of an afternoon, but I found it to be a good opportunity to meet newer Pathfinders and for these Pathfinders to meet each other. I've secured passage to transport you to the town of Sakakabe, which is the port closest to Kayajima. There, you'll meet Captain Masuhei Okonase, a good friend of mine and a former Pathfinder, and he will transport you the rest of the way to the lodge. Once you're here, I'll fill you in on the rest of the details you need to complete this task. I expect to have a pleasant time with your help, and I look forward to meeting you and the rest of your group. Until then, Venture Captain Kukuha Mukai. So, you received this letter some days back. Just to boil this all down for you, because I know, I have trouble tracking what all this stuff is. This is something that this venture captain here at the Three Gates Lodge asks new Pathfinders to do, to help her do some rituals to maintain the ley lines that, gird the magical underpinning of this island. This Three Gates Lodge is on an island called Kayajima, and this simple process is part of the onboarding that she chooses to do for new Pathfinders. And as newish members of the Pathfinder Society, this is a typical sort of, a typical thing that you'd be reached out to do. Does that all make sense?
Yes. So we're in Tiansha, right?
Yes, you're in Tiansha. That's true.
awesome.
This adventure happens in Tiansha.
Cool.
Yes. And Minkai, there's I actually wound up picking up the Tiansha World Guide, which I, for some reason, didn't have before this. There's a whole chapter on Minkai. The woman who's the Empress of Minkai is a prominent NPC in one of the more iconic adventures that I'm not going to spoil what it is, just because I don't want to spoil stuff. But one of the iconic Pathfinder adventure paths revolves around this NPC in unexpected and strange ways. So it's kind of for people who really know Pathfinder lore, this is all kind of coming into focus. It snaps into focus. But guess what? That's not us. So we're just having a good time playing this game. Okay. So relax. Okay. So when we're picking up, it is early morning. You have traveled to the Sankyodai province here in Minkai, specifically to this port town, Sakakabe. Your task today, just to stress it one more time, is to assist the venture captain Kukuha Mukai with inspecting the gates that the Three Gates Lodge is named for, and to assist her in maintaining these ley lines, the connection to these ley lines. You are standing on the dock here in this port town of Sakakabe as final preparations are being made on the ship that you will be taking to this island, Kayajima, to meet with the venture captain. You've had no time to introduce yourselves to each other before a kindly-looking, older fisherman welcomes you onto his ship, the Auspicious Pearl.
Ooh, I like the name.
Yeah.
So this fisherman leans out of his ship. He says, "It looks like we're ready to go. Come on aboard." And as you file onto the ship one by one, he says, "I always enjoy bringing new people aboard. She's a good ship, and she'll get us where you need to go. No problem." And you have a moment now as the ship unmoors from the dock that it's been waiting for you on. And you hear the creaking of aging wood on the Auspicious Pearl as you head out into the sea. There's a moment to introduce yourselves to each other. You hear the rattling of the lines extending up the length of the mast. It mixes with the gentle rush of water. Armat, why don't you start? What does everyone see here on the boat as the wind blows through your hair?
Yeah. So I think leaning on one of the railings, looking out at the sea and sort of enjoying the unfamiliar environs is a tall, slender, and deathly pale man. You could imagine a sort of vampiric Paul Bettany, if you liked. He's sort of restrained, but he's like got a sort of self-amused smile on. His suit is neatly tailored in the latest fashions in Absalom, but over it he wears a heavy leather long coat studded with iron grommets and scarred with the record of violent encounters. He's also twirling a cane in his hand, like on its point, spinning it, while his top hat is held in his hands as he leans over so as not to lose it into the waters. He's clean-shaven, his short white hair is neatly slicked back, and behind the dark round lenses of his glasses, you can see that the iris of his eyes are blood red. And when he smiles at presumably Riz and our other new companion, you can see that his canines are unnaturally sharp and pointed. This is D, the Dampier detective.
Robin, why don't you go next? Who does everyone see here, and how is your character dealing with the shifting deck of this ship as the water starts to get a little rougher?
So D nods his head to my character, Rix, and we see a ratfolk woman. She's got her very scruffed up kind of leathery lab coat with lots of marks from explosions all over her. She's got all these different formulae, different glass containers hanging off of her in different places, because she's always got to have her bombs handy. And she has climbed up onto the deck, and you see her she's not tall, she's about 3.5 feet, like your average rat folk woman. And she's incredibly comfortable on the ship.
Oh.
Right? She's a rat. She's like, this is perfectly fine for her. Crawling around, we even start to see her crawl up kind of start to climb up very nimbly some of the ropes to get a better view of everything around her. She's enjoying the science of the moment, I think is what it would be. She's looking around and, from here I can see trees. They look so different from this distance. And we can see, if you look over there, you'll see we have the conifers to the north of us and the deciduous trees to the south of us. And you can see where this line is. Oh, this is delightful to see all of this science so clearly while we're out in the water. So Rix is quite happy. And she looks over at her third companion and narrows her eyes to try and get her grasp of them.
Yeah, Kevin, who is Rix looking at, and how does your character react as the chop from the water increases, starting to toss the boat around a little bit as your journey continues?
So my companions see one of the largest orcs they've ever seen. He has his green skin is very blue in color, almost a sort of aquamarine. And he is dressed as they'd expect an orc to be, like a warrior. But something is a little odd to them about his dress and style. His face is painted, but somehow very precisely. His hair is braided. His armor, he's donned more bits of armor and armor accoutrements than you would expect to see. Flourishes you've never seen anyone, orc or otherwise, tied to their armor, including various medallions and ribbons of indeterminate origin. He has 2 hatchets hanging from his belt, which as you watched him stand on the dock, he ostentatiously threw into the air very skillfully, but also sort of seemingly uncomfortably and mostly curious in who was seeing it. As you board the ship, he seems uneasy standing still or unrelaxed, and you watch him move quickly through a series of sea-based postures as he puts his hand over his eyes and looks out to sea. He watches the captain as the captain pulls a sail rope up and goes, yes, yep, yep. He looks back at the dock, says, oh, yep, no, nothing on the dock, and then comes back to you all, sort of with a nervous energy, just exuding from his overly elaborate armor.
How do you think you're feeling about this task in front of you? The idea that you've traveled, I assume all of you have traveled like an incredibly long distance for this maybe routine, but still like deeply like magical task, right? Like maintaining these gates, like connections to ley lines, all that kind of thing. What does that prompt any conversation, or do you have any thoughts about how you might be feeling about this? Like, what do you think?
Rix is obviously a bit disheartened with this task put in front of her. She understands why she's been sent here. She's got to work with different people. She's part of the Pathfinder Society, but Rix does not like magic. Rix wants the science of everything. She feels like magic is a bastardization of science. So she's making comments about this to Dee since they've worked together once before. Oh, why must they send me on these idiotic outings? This is, ley lines. What nonsense is this? And wards and components around gates. Oh, this is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like, I think it's pretty, like, low level, but, like, I mean, because, my mom is the leader of our village back in Vazkek, and, like, I was supposed to, like, be able to skip, like, the first few levels of this, but, like, they told me that, like, for like, bureaucratic reasons, we really have to do it, and so I just guess a thing that everybody does. Hi, I'm Baz. Do you want to see my hatchets?
Rix just stares at Baz, narrows her eyes. I like the hatchet, but you thought you were going to be able to skip things because of your mom?
No, because all the questing I did before, but like she was the one who like knows the people in the Pathfinder Society who like told them about. I like log it all. I have it in my book.
You've got some experience then.
Oh yeah. Okay,
we see how it goes.
I'd love to see your hatchets, my good man, my good orc.
You've never seen anyone so excited. So I've got these two, but I've also got another one in case I want to throw one. And like, everybody gets their hatchets from like Grimelda, the Blade Maiden, but like, and she's like supposed to be the best, but like I heard that like actually is kind of rated, and like actually where I got these is Blorfarb, the metal bender, and like
Glorfarb,
he's actually my cousin Breck told me that actually they get their metal from the same place anyways. It's like actually sort of the same but better. And I mean I could have gotten the Grimelda ones, but I think these are pretty good.
It's good. Okay.
Yes, they've got a good sharp line on them. Yes, that makes a difference from when you're making an incision. Believe me, I know.
Glorfarb knows his metal. I've bet Glorfarb when getting different elements for different experiments. Glorfarb knows what he's doing.
Also, keeping one to throw is a great idea. You wouldn't believe it, Buzz. At our last engagement, where Riz and I met, actually, she was the only one who thought to bring any sort of ranged weaponry at all. I mean, I thought it was
make things go boom. You can't be next to the boom for it to be a good boom. It's got to be a bit of distance. Yeah?
I think that's perfectly accurate science, Riz. Yes. Anyway, I acquired certain throwing weaponry myself for this little adventure, and I think your hatchets will come in quite handy. I think our host a bit undersold the activity to me, if my suspicions are correct. A little ritual in the Pathfinder Society is rarely simply that.
On this ominous note, a few hours have passed. The waters have become unusually rough, like rougher and rougher as this ship has proceeded along its normal path. Captain Okonase apologizes. He says, sorry about the chop. That's usually not how it goes. It seems I'm going to be glad to stop sailing for a little bit. And he looks like he's maybe a little bit green around the gills himself.
But while he's saying this, Rix is hanging upside down from one of the ropes in the center, just like holding on with her feet, like, oh, he's fine.
And he sees you. He sees that you're upside down, and that himself is like enough on its own for him to go like, like just the orientation, like looking straight into this rat folk person, upside down, eye to eye. He like reels back and steadies himself on the edge of the ship.
So the opposite of the Spider-Man scene.
Yes, it's like you thought it was kissing time, but actually this dude's gonna blow chunks is what's going on. That would be so funny in Spider-Man if Mary Jane was like, oh, like,
throws up right
just
in his
was
mouth.
like, oh, you're upside down. That's so weird. I mean, it is weird. The dude's, and she kisses him, right? Can you, like, kissing somebody whose mouth is up and down? It's like, I guess it's interesting, but it's strange. It's like not what you're used to. I mean, not what I'm used to. I'm not one. Okay, moving on.
I mean, also he's hanging from some kind of goo that he's excreted from his hands.
He's got his body goop that he's hanging off.
It's not
of.
just the orientation.
Wow, it's so like run, get out of there, girl. You can do better.
I think about it that way. That makes it so much worse.
Yeah, it really.
Well, let's go get him, Tiger.
Perfect.
Bravo, Robin.
So you look out towards this island as you're approaching it. Deep green forests cover this island, and there's a single mountain jutting out, rising far above the trees. And Okonase says, that mountain there, that's Sorui Seiji Peak. Your work today is going to take you up there. I hope you've prepared for the journey. Do you think you're ready for a climb? Ready to stretch those legs?
I can climb.
Most certainly.
Baz begins stretching.
And as you pull towards the dock, Captain Okonase tosses a line and hops across, carefully guiding the auspicious pearl so it gently taps against the wood, and he motions you across to step onto this dock. He says, I'll be here with the pearl. I expect you'll be ready to head back after lunchtime. He motions forward towards the interior of the island. Three Gates Lodge is that way. Safe travels. I'll be taking a nap. And he ducks his head down to go below decks.
Thank you, sailor. Baz curtsies and then turns to you. It's like, my cousin Gorfeld told me that that's the traditional thank you in Minkai.
Okay.
So you should probably practice. He curtsies again.
Brix attempts to curtsy, and it's like one of the most awkward things you've ever seen as she like tries to pull out the sides of her leather lab coat, and it does not look good. She just looks like an idiot.
Dee does a very fluid and beautiful curtsy.
Of course he does.
To be clear, definitely not the traditional greeting.
Right.
But
Dee
you don't
also-
We're
know
going
not
with
to
it now.
trust that yet.
Yeah, this is how we get off boats from here till infinity. Lars, is it sunny out? It's like a bright afternoon or morning?
Well, it was sunny at the beginning of the day, but it's getting cloudier. It's not raining, but it's sort of overcast. It's not the day you were hoping it would be.
Okay.
Or maybe it's not the day a non-Dampier would be hoping it would be. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, sort of, yeah. Because I was going to say,
question?
if it's like bright and sunny, he was going to take out a very big floppy sun hat. But
I think it's still sun hat weather. You're not getting a ton of direct. It's one of those bright but overcast days.
Perfect. And he's sun hat.
Not direct sunlight. The kind of sunlight that an amateur would not put on sunscreen for, but that those who know understand that the sun actually still passes through the clouds, and you need to take care of your skin.
No,
because it's the only skin you've got.
Totally.
Hey, Armat, does D now? I can pick. It's not because it being a what is the book series? Eclipse? Why am I forgetting?
Twilight.
Twilight. How did I forget the name of the book series? Also, I'm like, it's not because I'm thinking
you love
of as
the second one. You're only into the second book in the series.
I just remember that it's like the stages of the night. That's all.
Right. They sparkle.
Oh,
I read them
She's
and I was mad
pretending
about
she doesn't
it.
have a Team Jacob tattoo. This is all.
I do
dissembling.
not. No. Don't get me started. I read them all.
No,
so
I
that
had
could
it
judge
removed.
them.
Everyone
I'm
read
mad
them, I
about it.
feel like.
Anyway, I picture that D actually might sparkle, though, just because it feels like D's personality.
Yeah, his personality is what sparkles it.
His
in
skin is
direct
sparkling
sunlight,
sun.
not his face, but his. But once he's sun hatted up, he's like, right, I'm ready to go.
It's a nice hat. I like it. Can't really wear that with the ears. It's hard. I can't hear so well.
Oh, of course. I imagine that's.
But I appreciate the good hat.
Yeah. He swapped his top hat back into his pack, incidentally. It collapsed it down.
Oh, a collapsible top hat. Very nice. So I just want to remind everybody you've got one hero point to work with so far. I'm going to try to give one out in each session of this adventure, but you've got one right now. With that note made, you continue down this path towards the Three Gates Lodge. The trip to the lodge it's not a long walk, and after about 10 to 15 minutes after setting off from the dock, you finally see it. The path that you're walking on continues into an enormous clearing. You don't have vision, of course you don't. Continues into an enormous clearing. Give me a second to let me give you some vision. Why not?
Por favor.
Oh, and let me get rid of the sound effects. You know, I could have prepared this better, huh? I hate the sound. Can we just say something? I hate the sound effects in Foundry. I do not want to hear any music or sound coming out of my web browser. It drives me absolutely insane. I'm sure it's great. I'm happy for everybody who likes it. It sends me totally around the bend. I don't want to hear a bird chirping in my face as I'm trying. Whatever. It's fine. God bless all the people that do the amazing work to bring these things to life. I just hate the sounds. I just don't want to hear these sounds.
You'd think there'd be some core setting in your Forge account that would say do not auto start sounds in new modules.
There likely is. I just don't know. I'm clicking audio video configuration. I don't see it. Listen, that's not what we're here to talk about. Here's what we're here to talk about. The path continues on. You reach this enormous clearing among the trees, and there's a partially ruined stone wall marking the entryway to the Three Gates Lodge.
It's lovely.
Yeah. D claps his hand and is like, oh, look, there's a gate for each of us.
Shall we go through size order, yes?
It's more like one gate with 3 holes in it. That's cool.
It's cool.
Beyond this entryway that you're noting, there are several ruined spires, ancient stone buildings, and newer wooden structures. And you notice that there's a clay statue there, but it's broken. These broken pieces of a massive clay statue have been piled up against one of the stone buildings. And a moment passes before a tall Tengu woman clad in simple robes and wooden sandals emerges from one of the wooden structures and gestures for you to come closer to her.
Yes, Tengu.
I forgot.
This is the venture
bird
captain.
People, and that really surprised me.
Sorry, Kevin, what'd you say?
I said I forgot that Tengu were bird people, and so when it appeared, it really took me off guard.
Yeah, this lady is a big crow.
Tengu
And this
so
is
cool.
She's awesome. I love this lady already.
She's badass.
She calls out to you, "Welcome, Pathfinders." She walks between the three of you. She says, "I am Venture Captain Kukuha Mukai. As I explained in my letter, I need your assistance to maintain the series of ley lines that protect this island and the Three Gates Lodge. It's a relatively simple upkeep, mostly requiring new ritual materials to be placed at key sites throughout Kayajima. Unfortunately," she adds, pointing to the broken statue, "my plans to rebuild the island's former guardian Dogu to aid with this task have taken longer to carry out than I anticipated. Oh well, this just means I have more opportunities to meet some of the newer Pathfinders like yourself." And she smiles brightly at you. "Since we've been doing this for several years now, the process has become rather straightforward. You'll be splitting up and heading across the island to," and then suddenly, boom! This enormous blast strikes in the distance. Kukuha is interrupted by a loud thunderclap. The skies above darken nearly instantaneously, the stars becoming as visible as they would be on a clear night. Blood-red clouds begin to fill the sky, circling like a tempestuous storm. For a moment, the eye of the storm remains clear, but then a massive figure clad in dark armor that bears a multitude of spikes appears at the center of this storm. Kevin, your character, whose name is Bazgalub Grogmar, what deity do they worship?
Gorham, baby.
Gorham, the god of battle. Bazgalub. Baz is immediately struck. This is Gorham. Gorham is standing right there, just huge, hulking armor spikes, like in the middle of this enormous storm that just appeared out of like absolute thin air. How does Baz react to this? Like seeing Gorham right there.
I think it's a lot about Gorham.
Gorham stands amid a landscape in this vision happening in the sky of idyllic mountains with his great sword in hand. He takes a few steps forward, seeming to chase some unseen subject. The image of this figure gets larger and larger in the sky. Any attempt that the three of you are making to look elsewhere or to like cover your eyes or to not see this fails. You are always looking at it. No matter what you do, you see this happening in front of you. This armored figure, Gorham, runs, plunging into a sea whose water barely gets up to his thighs. They raise their greatsword as though to strike, and just as they are about to attack, the water behind them explodes, a wall of water rising in a swell, and emerging from the depths of this wall, a crimson blade cuts through the air, plunging into the armored figure's back and lancing through their chest. The figure falls still. You can't see their face. There's just like armor, sheer armor covering their face, but a look of shock still somehow registers for you, despite not seeing these details. As the wall of water falls, it reveals the towering form of an enormous crimson mantis. The mantis rips their bloody arm out from the armored figure's body, tearing them in two. And a vile, dark smoke emerges from this bisected Gorham, and then their body explodes in a shower of metal shrapnel, massive torrents of blood, and silver liquid that sprays in all directions. The vision fades away as red and silver rain begins to fall on Kayajima. I want to show you an image of what just happened. So you look up into the sky and see a starry night sky in the middle of the morning, and Gorham being impaled and ripped in half by this enormous blood-red crimson mantis. Kukuha turns to you and says, we must head indoors. And suddenly, boom, a massive crash rocks the island. and this strange rain obscures all of your vision outdoors. So, anybody who here is trained in religion? I know I already asked Kevin about Baz's reaction to this, but anyone who D is trained in religion, you automatically recognize Gorham. Give me anybody who wants to give me a religion check. Give me a religion check to see if you recognize this other mantis.
Rix is at an absolute loss.
Okay.
I think I know.
Is it just D? Is just D doing this?
I think Baz is like too shook.
Okay.
In like a weird sacrilege.
Does Baz have religion training?
No.
Okay.
So he just has a Gorham invent, like it doesn't even compute.
You just saw your god get like impaled and ripped in half also.
Yeah.
Like Baz, this is crazy.
Yep.
Go ahead, Rob.
I was saying, I would imagine so Rix is from way up north. Rix is from Chitterhome, which is up in the Solon Hills, up past up in the Broken Lands.
Yeah.
And so Rix sees this, and her immediate response is the way she's got to logic through this, because anything mystical she does not want to accept, but she'll accept science. And up in the Broken Lands, that's where you've got a bit more extraterrestrial activity, right? You've got the androids there. So she's seen the evidence of other societies not on her own planet. And so she sees this and she's like, this must be alien. This must be from another planet. Like, this is her response to this.
Rick straight up doesn't believe in gods.
I think she does. She believes to an extent of it benefits us to believe them because it helps society, but are they actually real?
I just want to say, I think that if any of you catch wind that this is something that Rix believes, I think this is a noteworthy belief in this world.
Rix is the outlier in this society.
Rix is.
Absolutely.
I didn't realize how out there Rix was. Rix is it's nice to believe
Give Rix aliens, give Rix androids. That all makes sense to them.
Wow. Okay, we're in for an interesting ride today.
Love that.
I'm really excited to see whether Rix goes through a paradigm shift or not today.
Yeah, I feel like the secular humanists would have a lot more trouble making their arguments if we watched a god be ripped in half by a crab in the sky and then it rained blood.
Yeah,
it raises certain questions.
Dissonance is powerful, man.
Yeah.
So D looks up at the sky. This religion check. You try to figure out if you can identify this mantis. D doesn't know. D is maybe too shaken, struggling. You just don't have a sense of what this entity is that has just ripped Gorham apart.
Baz has sky mantis lore. Is that helpful?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I should have asked religion check or relevant lore. I should have said that. So Kukuha, as soon as she gets you inside, she turns to you and says, "Everyone, is everyone okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" She's immediately concerned about your well-being.
I'm fine. Is everyone else all right?
She sees that Baz is in shock and guides Baz to a pillow to sit Baz down as Baz continues to mutter Gorham to himself over and over again.
I'm so glad
what was that? What was that?
I do not know what we saw.
Perhaps he's from Akiton. She's kind of running through her knowledge of the universe.
Yeah. And Kukuha is what? And she looks at Riz and she's like, Rix, and she's like, she looks at Rix and says, I would like to meditate. And she leaves you and goes to sit in the corner of the room.
Oh, he's fine. He's good for gathering thoughts, yes.
So
she remains quiet. Go ahead.
That must have been some kind of spell or illusion or whatever, because Gorham the Bloodbringer, he would not have been killed by that crab for sure. So it must be some kind of spell. So where is the spell coming from? Hey, he starts asking the priest where who did that? Who did that spell? Who did that? That's sacrilegious.
And she's in full-blown meditation. Her eyes are fluttering up, and you're talking she's twitching. Her eyes are rolled back in her head. And you realize the line to Kuku has been disconnected.
Kuku's not there anymore.
She's not there anymore. So no comfort coming to Baz from her, right? If Baz is looking for answers, instead he's looking at a person whose mind has gone to another place. No comfort there.
Okay, so I guess we got to find out who did that.
Could I make a pitch that D is looking through some of his case notes about a murder from many years ago that he
Moida.
worked on?
Sure.
And make a society check to see if he can pinpoint something about the killing.
You're using meta knowledge to try to get to,
exactly.
to Red
Okay,
Mantis
I'll move
Assassins?
it.
Let's go.
That's exactly where I was trying to get to. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
I just think that D is
He
maybe
doesn't
just
know.
too distraught. He
Yeah.
may know at a later moment. He doesn't have it right now.
Cool.
This is like the craziest thing any of you have
Yeah.
ever seen.
Yeah, Rix goes up to Baz and kind of pats him on the hip because I imagine that's what she can reach with their height difference. I don't know why I always end up playing shorties. And she says,
Yes, I agree. Must be some illusion, some perhaps hologram. Yes, illusion makes sense. I think, but why would they do an illusion of something from a different planet? Is confusing.
Right. I do have some questions about that line of logic, Rix. I'll be
Yes,
and then
honest.
Rix walks away and starts looking for any sort of like scrolls or anything to read through and see if that can help her.
So the three of you, for the next hour or so, I feel like you're kind of telling the story of the three of you break off in three separate directions. Like, you're disagreeing. Like Baz is having his sort of personal crisis. Rix is like in denial about what's happening. D is like probably deeply frustrated that he's not able to get a hold of the factual idea of this. And you spend the next hour struggling to put the pieces together, not finding it and not really finding comfort in each other. And after about an hour, this strange rain stops falling. You're inside this old temple, so you hear the of a heavy rain on an old building
Careful,
the
you'll
entire
put
time.
me to sleep with that.
Yeah, it's a white noise generator. It's the sound of a humpback whale, and you immediately fall asleep.
Rain on a roof.
Then it ends with its scream as it gets stabbed by a mantis.
Yeah.
That's right. It gets stabbed by
The blood of a whale on the roof.
But after an hour, this rain stops falling, and Kukuha leaves her meditation. She says, "Would you please step outside with me?" And she motions to this sodden courtyard that has just been saturated with this silver rain. During my meditation, I noticed that the island's ley lines now seem to be behaving strangely. Something has altered them. Perhaps we can find some answers here where this rain has fallen. So you take some time to examine the grounds surrounding the temple to see if you can determine the effects of what this rain has done. Because you don't typically see silver, weird, divine rain falling all around. So if you have any ideas for what you might want to do to search, any checks you might want to make, let me know. And if you don't, I can throw some ideas your way.
So Baz is a ranger.
Okay.
And he is always hunting his prey, including trying to sort of track it down. And this feels like maybe the mantis could be my current hunted prey.
Sure.
And sort of
yeah.
use my seek prey in a generalized sense to look for where this could have come from.
Sure. So I'm going to say, in order to like turn that into game mechanics, you can give me perception, you can give me nature, you can give me survival. I feel like those are like the three ideas of searching around the area, trying to find a lead on what it is that you're hunting for. So either one of those checks sounds good to me.
Okay. Here comes survival check. Nope.
We love rolling survival. It's a skill that never comes up in our other game. I always love to see it. What did you get on your survival check, Kevin?
I got a 7, Lars. 2 on the
Okay.
die for a 7.
Very good. So what that means is that Baz heads off into the area surrounding the lodge, looking for signs of intrusion, looking for anything related to this mantis, and comes up with very little. Does anybody else have a check they would like to make?
What was it that Kukuha was saying about the ley lines?
She says that the ley lines seem to have been disrupted during that rain, during or she doesn't have a sense of when
Yeah.
when they were disrupted. Just that they're not working right now.
I think Rix would take out her notebook and
Okay.
she does start paying attention to trying to figure out what's happening with the ley lines, because she looks at them very scientifically, right? They are pathways of energy, and energy is something that can be sensed and studied. So she's I'm trying to. I feel like she's maybe pulling out her alchemist toolkit and is trying to come up with things that respond differently when they're close to different energies. She's trying to scientifically see how things have shifted.
All right, that sounds like crafting to me then.
Sure. Is this
Okay.
blind?
Sure, either way, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
So you're trying to take a scientific approach specifically to the ley lines.
Yeah. Is it gonna roll? There we go.
It is going to roll.
And I ended up doing it blind.
Okay. So Rix tries to get a sense, looking at considering the scientific, like the magnetic resonances, trying to think about the material changes to the ley lines, and comes up also with very, very little. Not many conclusions here.
Can Dee try Arcana?
Absolutely. Yes. You could try to get maybe a more direct connection to the situation of the ley lines with an Arcana check. Sure.
Blind?
I don't care.
Okay.
This is me, Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive.
18.
Harrison Ford says, "Do you want it blind?" Tommy Lee Jones says, "I don't care."
Don't care.
Okay, so Dee, what did Dee get on this check?
18.
Okay, so Dee reaches the conclusion. He feels like he's on the track of something. It's not clear to Dee how this happened, but the rain seems to be pouring down from Gorham himself. Like this is a divine rain from the essence of Gorham himself pouring down on you. That rain has disrupted the ley line's energies, causing the power that was put in place to protect this lodge to fail. So this rain has disturbed the entire power superstructure that these ley lines are relying on, and there is now a vulnerability here on the island, here at the lodge, a magical energy, an arcane energy that was predicting this place is no longer servicing here.
Oh, damn.
So it's a problem.
It's almost as though a transformer exploded and now the whole neighborhood's no more magical power outage. Yeah.
Exactly.
I thought you meant like Optimus Prime had exploded. I was wondering where that metaphor was going.
Honestly,
I mean, why por qué no los dos?
yeah. Wasn't that a storyline too, like in Transformers? where
Optimus
there's-
Prime died in like the big Transformers
In the movie,
Right,
they
that-
killed
when we
all
were kids.
the old toys. So you have to buy new
Spoilers?
toys.
No.
I've never
Sorry.
seen a Transformers movie. I imagine, so Dee explains this, right? His
Oh, yeah,
understanding.
definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
And, Rix looks up and goes, so, was not illusion.
No, not.
So, actually happened.
Yes, it certainly appears that way.
No, I don't think so.
And Rick's-
Nobody can kill Gorham. It was Gorham.
I love Boss so much already.
I don't think so.
So that was good.
Like, Rix kind of just stands up and starts circling around, and you hear her muttering to herself in her own, in Isoki, like, trying to figure out, like, talking to herself like a crazy person for about 5 minutes as she sorts through what happened.
Okay, now I'm getting Amy Adams in Arrival vibes from Rex.
Yes!
Now I'm
take
getting
it.
the scientist confronting something, or like Jodie Foster in Contact, confronting something bigger than herself, and like
oh my God.
being
Jodie-
sent on a journey of discovery because of the
Jodie Foster.
ineffable.
I
in
love
Contact. Wow, Lars. Like, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Amy Adams' Arrival is pretty
It's
good
the nice
too.
thing I'm ever going to say.
I love
and
that
Amy
movie.
Adams and Arrival. 2 movies I love.
The only thing that could
Great
make
movies.
Arrival better is if you replaced Amy Adams with a rat with a Russian accent.
That's right.
Yeah, everything else
Accurate.
identical.
So
I was trying to go for Polish, but okay.
Oh, sorry. That was my. Yeah. I actually genuinely I almost said Slavic. So
There we go.
There you go.
As soon as Dee finishes explaining this, and you have this moment to consider the implications of what Dee is saying, a mighty roar echoes through the air as a long, serpentine creature flies above the forest from the southwest. This creature is covered with scales, the color of the ocean's waves, and appears to be 12 feet long. Kukuha looks up, recognizes this creature, and waves at him, waves this creature down, greeting him. She greets him as Aojimitsu. She says, Aojimitsu, please, come here. Aojimitsu lands in the lodge's courtyard, frantically catching his breath, just like, and here's Aojimitsu. Here's a picture. He's a pale blue,
Beautiful.
long, beautiful, majestic dragon.
Yeah.
He says, Pathfinders, I'm glad you're safe. Something terrible is happening to the island. The animals here have become dangerous in the wake of the visions that appeared above us. I fear there's something on the mountain summit that's causing these creatures to go into a frenzy. It could lead us into even greater problems. And Kukuha is like, okay. Thank you, Aojimitsu. Everybody, Aojimitsu, this is Baz. He's having a crisis because he is a worshiper of Gorham.
I'm not having a crisis. Like Gorham, like if he wanted, that's what if Gorham wanted to happen. That's what Gorham wanted to happen. He probably like faked his death, and he's off somewhere doing Gorham stuff, and he'll be back soon. I wouldn't worry about it.
And then she turns to Rix and she says, Aojimitsu, this is Rix. She doesn't really believe in deities all that much. So, and Hachimitsu's like, just so socially awkward.
Rix keeps talking to herself and he's so cute.
And she says, and this is D. He's like a vampire or something.
And to think, I'm the reasonable one among us.
Yeah.
Charmed,
and she says,
enchanté.
and she turns towards Aojimitsu and she says, you should speak directly with the Pathfinders. There are so many questions we have about what's happening. And she looks at a loss and she turns to the three of you. She's like, do you have any questions? Aojimitsu he lives in a cove nearby. He is aware of anything happening on the island. We have known him for some time. When we established this lodge, he came and he became a quick friend of the Pathfinders. So if you have any questions for him, please ask them.
Who was that mantis who Gorham had pretend to kill him?
And he says, the mantis. No, sorry, that's not him. He says, the mantis in the vision. I know very little of the mantis or of the other figure. Kukuhas called him Gorham. I just know that there's a god of war that's more well known in other parts of the world. I remember hearing about him. Somebody said something about him. I don't really know anything about him really or the mantis. It's hard for me to say if what we saw is a vision or if it was actually, if it was something that was truly occurring. The strange rains and everything that's happened since have convinced me, though, that we have just witnessed, and he opens his eyes and looks at you deeply, a god's death.
That's what he wants you to think.
Is such a thing even possible? I confess to be no great expert on religion.
For God to die, God must leave. And even the way people talk about gods, they're not living beings, right? They live out, they exist at some other plane of existence, right? I mean, it's a little far-fetched, but how can a god die if a god is not alive?
I understand your question. I think this god was alive. Is that helpful? Is that helpful to you to hear?
No. Show me living god, and I believe you.
I don't have one of those now. We just have the dead one. So
you're currently soaked in his blood.
Right. You see all that crazy blood all around us?
Well,
Does he?
There is no good here for him to be blood from.
Right, because he died.
Remember how in like movies from 20 years ago you do the crazy by like doing the swirly finger next to somebody's head? Like I'm imagining the dragon looking at Cuckoo and being like, just letting anybody into Pathfinder Society.
So, okay, moving on from whether or not 'twas God dying we saw in the sky.
Yes.
What kind of animals are do we need to deal with? Like, what happens up there?
The animals have changed. They appear to be enraged. They're attacking each other, even if it is against their nature. Prey creatures are attacking their predators.
Like
predators. Deer? Yes. The deer have gone wild.
They're probably like full of Gorham's energy for like war and violence and stuff.
Yes, they've been covered with Gorham's blood. I agree.
Would you say
because he's dead?
Would you say they've been covered in Gorham's gore?
And he considers like this pun, whether it translates into the language that he's translating into to speak to you right now. And he just pauses for a second and he's like, yes.
Right. Okay. Quorum on Gorham jokes. I get it. I've ruling made.
No, that one I liked. I liked the rhyme. The rhyme translates perfectly. Anyway.
He makes a note.
Some animals.
Book.
The animals are intentional about harming others. It's as if every creature on the island wants to fight, even ones that have no reason or history of doing so. The ones, yes. Yes.
It's like a challenge from Gorham. That's what this is. We gotta go if he wants us to fight.
Well,
sure.
Hold on.
If that helps.
We don't necessarily. We don't want to kill all animals on this mountain.
Well, just like the
No,
murdery
of course
ones.
not. No.
What was that?
What?
Just the murdery ones.
Well, if deer are murdery, if chipmunks are murdery, we don't want to kill those. We want to. We need to stop this. But
yes.
what could we do to stop it?
Don't kill all of the animals. If you thought that's what I was asking you to do, I apologize. I maybe was unclear
Baz
with
does
my
like a
ask.
wink, like, yeah, no, we won't kill any animals.
Listen, just kill the animals that there are combat encounters with. Kill no other animals. Okay. The ones that aren't attacking on sight. I've seen some animals. They are, they're hiding in their dens. The feeling of rage and murderous intent that has overwhelmed them seems to have sent them into a stupor. But it's the situation at the summit that I'm concerned about.
It makes sense at Summit. There must be some gathering of energy there, because is highest points on island, yes?
Yes. I'm sure you heard the crash that echoed as the strange rains began.
Yes.
I believe that something large fell from the sky, perhaps one of the pieces of armor that belonged to this Gorham.
God, I hope it wasn't the cod piece.
I have no way of knowing. You should definitely, when you get up there, investigate that.
Yeah, Bez seems like Bez would want that.
I don't know for sure what it is that landed up there, as I had to suddenly defend myself from attacking sea creatures after the rains started. Whatever that object is, whatever it is that's up there, it's disrupting the island's primal energies.
All right.
So we go?
Sounds
Yes.
I make things go boom? Stop them?
Yes, I would deeply appreciate if you were to do that. I myself tried to fly toward the peak, but I found myself growing ill as I approached. It was as though a rage started to come over me, so I flew away. The rage then subsided, but I was worried about becoming overwhelmed and turning on the island creatures, or even, and he pauses for a second, against you, Pathfinders. And he pauses for another second and relaxes. I think there's a way to investigate the summit. You'll find it, and I'm better off dealing with the creatures around here.
Got it. Head to summit, kill all the animals.
Right.
No.
At this point, he's not listening. He's like moved away. He's not able to to contradict what it is that Baz is saying.
Rix looks at kind of some of the droplets that are still like on her coat from when they were first outside in the rain, and Rix looks at everyone. Maybe we bathe first and then go, so we don't go crazy?
Thereh no time.
Oh.
He runs back from out of shot.
Yeah. Kukuha interjects here for a second and says, I think that we can wait on the ley line ritual. If there's something that's disrupting the energy of the ley lines or causing even worse effects, we should take care of that first. I do agree with Aojimitsu that you should go to the summit. While you scale the mountain, Soru Seiji, I will return to Sakakabe with Captain Masuhe. Once I'm there, I can report the matter to the rest of the Lantern Lodge and return with help. God's willing, we'll be able to sort this all out first, and then we can restore the ley line's power afterwards. Okay, cool. Aojimitsu, at this point, comes back one last time and he's like, I want to give you this. And he pulls out a pouch full of colorful sea glass. He says, I was going to give this to you as a gift once you had completed the task of maintaining the ley lines, but fuck it, I'll just give it to you now. And he gives you 12 gold pieces worth of colorful glass.
Okay.
How thoughtful. You shouldn't
That guy's
have.
kind of weird.
Think nothing of it. It's cool.
They're very pretty.
It's the best glass I've ever found. I think it's more than very pretty, D.
Touche. Yes. It's beautiful. Sparkling.
I have to
Scintillating.
go.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye. And Aojimitsu flies away.
Can Rix inspect the glass to see if there's any, like, what the properties are of it?
Yeah, it's just
It's
treasure.
worth 12
Oh,
gold.
okay, it's just treasure.
It's
Never mind.
just-
I take it all back.
For some reason, they decided to
shiny.
put 12 gold pieces worth of glass up in this piece. So go nuts, guys.
It's shiny, it's pretty.
Okay.
It is shiny. It's
I
definitely
make
shiny.
necklace.
It's definitely pretty. So we're going to begin the ascent up Mount Soru Seiji.
Guys, this is so cool. Oh.
As the dragon flies away, Baz curtsies.
Kukuha raises an eyebrow.
Then Rix sees that, and Rix does her very awkward
Baz
curtsy.
thinks she's jealous and curtsies to her.
D slaps his forehead and also does a elegant curtsy. With a little bit of an extra flourish, actually.
So you begin walking up the mountain to get to the summit to figure out this thing that seems like it's a shard of Gorham's armor. Trying to get up there. You're wary of the dangers posed by the animals living on this mountain that you've been told are now crazed and filled with bellicose intent thanks to this rain that has just fallen on them. This journey that you're going on now is going to be arduous. Depending on how well you handle its obstacles, you could take a short length of time or you could take a much longer length of time. You start off up the mountain. There is a path from the lodge leading towards the mountain that then connects to a weathered mountain trail. There are some checks that you could make to attempt to get through this relatively low-key part of the trail faster or slower. If you'd like to, you could use athletics for moving up the rocky terrain faster. You could use medicine perhaps to come up with optimal times of taking breaks and maximum efficiency of conditioning using the conditioning of the party to move up the mountain more steadily. You could potentially use survival to keep track of the trail, even though at points it has worn away. You can use perception if you'd like to try to eye obstacles along the way. If you have other creative ideas for how to bypass the obstacles of this relatively steady but maybe worn trail, you can throw those at me. But do any of those options or any other options jump out at anybody? I'm going to get a total of 4 checks here. So that's 3, 1 from each of you, and then a 4th.
What about acrobatics to kind of easily find traverse the path and show people the way?
Yeah, let's do it. So, Rix, you approach a portion of the pathway where the path has nearly entirely worn away. You see just like isolated outcroppings of stones in between like a muddy kind of water sodden pathway, and Rix tries to find a good way forward here.
Okay. I'm gonna actually use my hero point on.
What did you roll?
I rolled
friend?
a 1 on the die, which
Oh,
would
gosh.
mean
Oh, boy.
that Rix falls on her face, and I would love that not to happen.
Okay.
So this may be the wrong time to use it, but I'm going to use it because I don't want to be the one to slow us down.
Sure.
So let's reroll.
This acrobatics check.
Oh, and that's way better. Yeah. So now, Rick ends up with a 21 instead of a 7.
A 21 is absolutely going to do it. You got what did you get? Like a 15 on the die?
Yeah, 15 on the die.
Phenomenal. Yeah, no problem. Rix is able to quickly push the party forward, and that pushes you on further down this road. Does anybody else have any checks that they would like to do here?
So Baz would be, as a trained hunter and ranger would sort of be looking for a path, but he's so, I think, heated by everything that's going on and ready to quest and prove himself. As soon as you come up to a tall cliff where there's sort of a long path that would lead you around, he loses his patience and decides to climb the cliff as quickly as he can and help you up with a rope instead. So I'd like to use athletics.
Let's do athletics. Yes, you approach this cliffside, and it looks like a shortcut. Baz is going to try to climb up it. Let's get this athletics check.
It's a 2 on the die for a 9.
Okay. So Baz's attempt to get a shortcut going doesn't seem as though it has provided any real help for you. Armet, does D have any ideas here?
Yeah, I think he'd love to use perception to try and pick out the most efficient way through the terrain.
So as Baz struggles to climb up this shortcut, D is scanning around for other elements in the pathway. There are bushes and this worn path in front of him. What is D going to be able to find? Let's see. With a perception check.
Ugh, not great. 13.
And you're trying to find something better than just the straight up pathway in front of you, and you don't really get there. That's 3 checks. Let's get 1 4th check. Anybody can make whatever check they want to, but let's get 1 more as you approach the end of this stage of the ascent. It seems like it's going to take you about 3 hours to get up, but let's see what it is.
So I think Baz would sort of like, well, there's a sign from Gorham. We need to find another way and look for another path using survival.
Sure.
15 on the die for an 18.
Okay. And you see like broken branches, you see worn grass, and you see that there are larger animals have used a path that diverts from the pathway that was made by the humans here, and you are able to get a little bit more of an advantage moving forward. This faster trail that Baz finds takes you to a place where the mountain trail has fully worn away, and it leads you into a forest. There are various animal paths crisscrossing the forest floor, but there's no obvious path continuing up to the mountain summit from here. You hear the sound of animal calls, much more prominently here, echoing in the thick canopy above and highlighting the dangers of the wilderness ahead. What do you guys do? How do you react to this open field and the path disappearing?
Rick starts sniffing to see if she can smell anything that helps her find her way.
Sure. So as you get into this path, Rix just turns her her rat-like nose up in the air and starts sniffing. What do the rest of you do?
I think Baz will be like, here's the animals, and we'll be looking around for danger.
Okay. Baz scans for danger. What does D do?
I think D would also be trying to perceive pathways through any remainders of which way the path might have once laid, and see if he can pick the right direction.
Okay. So the three of you are so like into this moment. You've got to get up this mountain. You are so driven. You've just gone through 3 hours of difficult trekking through the wilderness, relying on this trail. And now that trail is gone, that the three of you just wordlessly set about, like instinctively looking around, trying to find the next pathway forward. And as you're looking around, there is a gentle rustling in the branches of the trees above you. And you can get the feeling that you are being watched. And as something slips down unseen from the branches of the trees around you, we will pick up from there next time.
Oh,
Gorham, is that you?
Gorham, is
It's
that
Gorham.
you?
I'm alive.
Hey guys, you
Don't
like
listen to them. I'm fine.
cool prank, huh? I'm starting a new reality show.
Totally got you guys.
The Band of Gold is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated fan content policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. The Band of Gold is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in The Band of Gold are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Visit tabletopgold.com to learn more about us and our shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.